welcome to Getting Started With, where our job is to make your job easier. On this episode, we are getting started with types of audits. We'll learn about the differences between internal and external audits, some common and less common audit types you'll encounter as an internal auditor, and what the objectives of these audits are. So, let's get started. Internal and external audits don't refer to whether you are working on that please fix email at your desk or while you're catching a few rays outside. There are some similarities. They are both meant to be independent and objective, and auditors who work on them have similar skill sets. However, there are key differences in who performs them. An internal audit is typically performed by persons employed by the organization who are overseen and report to the chief audit executive. An internal audit function has a broad focus and will perform various types of audits that we'll get into just a minute. Internal audit focuses on improving the organization's policy and procedures, testing internal controls, and adding strategic value to the organization. External audits focus on providing assurance over the accuracy of financial reporting compiled and published by organizations. External auditors come from an outside firm your organization hires and primarily have an accounting skill set. External audits are required for publicly traded companies. A term to know here is Big Four, which refers to the 4 largest audit firms in the world who perform the lion's share of external audits. They are Deloitte, Ernst & Young, typically referred to as EY, PricewaterhouseCoopers, typically referred to as PwC, and KPMG. A financial audit can mean 2 different things, depending on if it's internal or external. As I mentioned before, external auditors perform financial audits to ensure financial statements are presented accurately and that they comply with accounting standards. Financial audits performed by internal audits support the financial reporting process by testing an organization's internal controls in areas that could have a material impact on a company's finances. They can also assess whether the proper accounting treatments are being applied before financial reports are prepared to avoid misstatements. Internal and external auditors perform testing on transactions, account balances, and disclosures to make sure they are correct. If you haven't yet, you'll probably hear about SOX. Nope, wrong one. Yeah, that's better. SOX refers to the Sarbanes Oxley Act, a U.S. law passed in 2002 that was designed to increase financial reporting accountability in publicly traded companies. Its provisions created new financial record-keeping and reporting requirements, which in turn created the need for additional internal controls, often referred to as SOX controls. When it comes to financial reporting in the U.S., as well as related internal and external financial audits, SOX is a big deal. Next, we're going to cover operational audits. Operational audits are the most wide-ranging in terms of what is being audited, because any of the organization's functions can be in scope. Operational audits review a process or department, such as shipping times or marketing or human resources. The objective is generally to ensure the subject of the audit, whether a business unit or process, is being performed effectively with the end goal being a more optimized process or function. Operational audits may include elements from financial, compliance, and IT audits. Here's a term to learn, KPI, which stands for Key Performance Indicator. Most organizations use KPIs to evaluate performance. Examples of common KPIs include customer retention rates, inventory turnover, order fulfillment times, or monthly website traffic. Auditors can use KPIs in operational audits to evaluate how a function is performing. Compliance audits are performed to ensure laws and regulations are being followed. This can include whether your organization is following all applicable laws and regulations, such as rules on employee safety, proper storage of volatile chemicals, or protecting personally identifiable information. Compliance audits are important because no one wants regulators showing up at headquarters. It can also involve making sure business functions are following their own policies and any overarching company directives that may apply. Not all compliance audits need to be focused on your organization. Compliance audits are useful to ensure your vendors and suppliers are performing according to contractual agreements or that you are meeting your obligations to them. An IT audit assesses the effectiveness of IT internal controls, such as access reviews or change controls, and other security measures in place to ensure your IT systems are protected and working reliably. Here's a pro tip. Make all of your audits IT audits, at least partially. Why? With the proliferation of technology into our everyday lives, generally, all business units use some software-driven tools or systems to perform their day-to-day duties. This is a good opportunity to implement best practices such as periodic access reviews into these systems. If you want to learn more about IT audit, check out our Getting Started with IT Audit video. Now, you aren't just limited to those audits we discussed. Here's a list of some other audit types. And while these might be less commonly found in internal audit, they may also be performed. An investigative audit will typically involve trying to determine something specific and have a narrow scope. An example of a common investigative audit is one that looks for fraud. A quality assurance audit, sometimes shortened to QA, ensures that an organization's products or services are meeting expected standards. Safety audits can be performed to ensure that an organization's procedures are keeping employees or customers safe. A tax audit's objective is to ensure your company is accurately filling out its tax returns. It can also refer to an audit the IRS or other governmental taxing authority performs. While these audits can be projects in their own right, you may want to consider mixing elements of these audits into your internal audits. For instance, if you were doing an inventory count, perhaps you may also want to ensure that your warehouse is following the proper safety guidelines and is meeting building code regulations. Congratulations on completing Getting Started with Types of Audits. Thank you for watching. There's much more to learn. On the next screen, you'll see links to suggested videos to view next.